Wasted Water Sports crew, ahoy! How's everybody doing? Welcome back for some more action here tonight. I didn't think we were going to be doing this game, but you talked me into it. Freon, shout out, ahoy mate. How are you doing tonight? Brody, YT, ahoy mate. Welcome along for this one. Yes, as I said, wasn't going to do it, but I happened to be up and about, and it was quite heavily requested in the chat room earlier on. Lazza can vouch for that. Lazza was there for the earlier games. Ahoy there, Laz. How are you, mate? So, yes, there were enough requests to get me interested. And I tell you what, the first thing that I'm noticing here, look, there are some empty seats. I tell you what, we looked at that rugby test in Japan. It was like, it wasn't capacity, but it looked pretty full. 10 minutes to go until kickoff. There are empty seats everywhere in this stadium. Wembley Stadium, I do believe that it's called. Now, I know that there was a lot of conjecture about the English squad. A lot of negative feedback about the team that was picked. I just wonder if that has influenced people staying away for some reason. Have they gone, bollocks this, we don't have a chance. Why should we bother showing up? I don't quite understand it. I mean, I understand that rugby league is only really a powerhouse sport in Queensland, New South Wales, Papua New Guinea, parts of New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands. But still, I would have expected, especially with a local Super League competition, that there would have been more people than this. This is not even close to a sellout. But I digress. Aussie John, ahoy, mate. How are you, sir? We are ready for this one. Look, it should be an absolute shellacking. Let's be honest. Australia are one of the only countries that play rugby league professionally and seriously. They should do this in an absolute canter. Let's be honest. But we want to see England put up a fight. We saw Japan in the rugby union earlier push Australia right down to the wire. Can England do a similar underdog story here? Lazza saying that rugby league in England can be up and down with the crowds. And also, England, with their sports in general, I find, I mean, passion's probably one way to describe it. But yes, as I said, there was a lot of debate around the team that's been picked. And I can imagine England, more so than anywhere else, protesting the team selection by not showing up. You know what I mean? That's no disrespect at all to England, their supporters, or the people. It's just I've noticed passion might be the word that I'm going for. But yeah, they talk with their feet. And what I mean by that, of course, is if they disagree with something that vehemently, they will not show up. And maybe that's contributed to it. I did see, honestly, a lot of negative feedback around the squad that was selected. But hopefully they put up a little bit of a fight. Freon asking if I mind if you use the Wasted Water Sports logo for your channel. In what capacity, my friend, would you like to use it? Aussie John says Wembley holds 90,000. Well, it certainly does for wrestling events anyway. We know that. We've seen some wrestling pack house. Lazza says England invented rugby and league, but I think it's always hit and miss. Teams out on the field, as this one's kind of crept up on us. England versus Australia in the first Ashes test. Look at that. There is a completely empty top section. So, I mean, obviously, this was never going to pull 90,000 people. Obviously. But I would have thought that maybe on the television camera side, they got a few more in. Jack says Aussies put up 60 on them. We'll see. I mean, I think that that's probably the most likely. But we shall see. What's my estimate on the current attendance? Oh, geez, I'm terrible at this. There's empty seats all over the place. There is an entire section on the opposite side of the camera. The whole top section is empty. So, I mean, what could you fit in there? You've got to be talking about 20,000 people in that entire top row. If it's a 90,000 seat stadium, there's 3 tiers. The tiers are different sizes. Let's just try and do some basic. I just turned into Mike Tyson. Let's do some basic mathematics. Sorry about that. If we do some basic mathematics, there we go. Gary Johnson says it's a 50K crowd. So there you go. I was going to estimate around about that. I was actually going to go a bit above. I was going to say about 60K because that entire top section's empty. That entire top section, based on the divisions of the segments, has to be worth at least 20K, which brings it down to 70. And then there's scattered empty seats around. I was going to say around 60, 65K. So, wasn't far off. Gary Johnson, thanks for that, mate. So 50,000, when you think about it, like you look at the stadium and look at all those empty seats and you go, oh, this is pretty piss poor. But when you see the number on the page, 50,000 is a hell of a turnout for a rugby league international. Let's not kid ourselves with that. Baden from Twitch, ahoy there, mate. Welcome along. Teams going through the national anthems. Crack yourselves open, some better beer. I tell you what, I absolutely love this stuff. Not sponsored, but maybe I should be. Better beer. A fantastic drop. Geez, we're racking up some potential sponsors here tonight. We were talking about Aussie Broadband earlier. Now we're talking about better beer. I might have to get our sales guy onto these companies in the new year. God save the king. England are ready for this one. The Kangaroos ready for this one. It should be a walk in the park here for Australia, like we said. But fingers crossed that we see a decent contest. Stay hunky. Ahoy, mate. Gary Johnson says, I've got you guys to win by 16, but I'll apologize now for our appalling refereeing. Gary Johnson, all I ask, mate, is that forward passes are actually called. Forward passes don't get called all that often here in the NRL. If forward passes are enforced here by the English referee, Reece Walsh is going to have a horrible, horrible night. Also, I'm very interested to see this. There's a green card, 2 minutes in the sin bin, if you are deemed to be feigning injury, milking, if you will. Bloody hell. Forward passes being called and a green card, 2 minutes on the sideline for milking. We're not going to see a whole lot of Reese Weesey tonight. He'll be spending the whole match on the sideline, just accumulating 2 minutes. This will be very interesting indeed. So, yeah, Gary, there is absolutely no need at all to apologize for the refereeing. The standard of refereeing in the NRL has been atrocious. So, they don't really have a whole lot to compete with. Four legs in my same game multi for this one. My boy, Nawangitawase, Herbie the Lovebug Farnworth, Sir Angus Crichton, and Katoni Staggs. I've picked players in form. I've picked try-scoring machines. Let's see if we can get this four-legger up. So, please, ahoy there. Freon, you're watching the game too? Awesome stuff, mate. There he is, referee Liam Moore. Now, Liam Moore was, of course, the referee in the World Club Challenge when he awarded Wigan the try 2 meters short of the try line. against the Panthers. I think we all remember that one. Aussie John, yes, Channel 9, mate. Quickly, jump on it. Channel 9 here in Australia. Free to air. That's what you love to see. Referee blows the whistle and we are off and running. England with the kickoff live from Wembley Stadium. And it is Tino for Asawamalawe with the first hit up. Chris Bradley, ahoy mate. And the first Ashes test off and running. Australia with first use of it. Harry Grant has a dart. 25 metres out here, Australia on play 2. Marching their way upfield. Paddy Carrigan bumps off the first contact of Bateman, but he's taken. Still inside their own 40 here, Australia. Isaiah Yeo with the settler on the 5th and last. Takes 3 to bring him down, the captain, and he takes it up over halfway. Some good post-contact meters. Back to Cleary for the first kick of the night. And it's an easy take at the back there for Johnston. Johnston, though, met by that kick chase, and they drive him backwards. Ruben Cotter, I tell you what, in terms of selections, Ruben Cotter, the 16, what an interesting call. I wouldn't have thought that he was in good enough form to have made the squad. But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. England with their first set. Halfway through it, they're still inside their own 40. Here's Pierce Paul. That will be a familiar name for some, playing for the Newcastle Knights in the NRL. We've got a few NRL players here. The Poms. Dominic Young over on the wing, of course. Herbie Farnworth. Pierce Paul. 5th and last. Only 38 metres gained off that set. And the kick. Trying to get it in behind Nwanga Nitawase. But he takes it on the full, just on the edge of the end goal. And returns it short of the 20. Nathan Cleary into play dummy half. Sends it down the short side. And Katoni Staggs getting involved in the hard work. 2 minutes gone. Both teams have got through their first set. Here's the Fox, Sado Carr. That was another questionable selection. I'm sure that he will step up to the challenge, though. In the Fox, he's been there and done it time and time again, hasn't he? As Australia now march up to halfway. Yo takes the 5th and last again. Short side for Munster to clear. Sends it up high in the air. What a kick it was. Nice take at the back by Wellesby. And here come England looking for a counter-attack. Katoni Staggs up around the shoulders. Brings down Johnston. The crowd appealing for a penalty. Oh, huge contact there from Hazard Grant. Jake Wardle absolutely rocked by the little man. Dominic Young now. Short of the 40. Both teams just going one out. England just short of halfway. Here's Paul, goes in to play dummy half. Lewis. Not Wally. 5th and last here on halfway. England. Back it goes for Williams to kick. Looking for space, but only finds the Fox on the full. And Josh Adokar returns it. So, Australia controlling the early feeling out phases as this game is played around about the halfway mark to 10 metres on England's side of halfway. Lazo, you used to stay up and watch the English Super League. Yeah, it used to be really good from what I remember. The English Super League, it kind of fell away a little bit in recent years, my understanding. Harry Grant goes from dummy half up to halfway. Offloads for Cleary. Nice short ball for Hudson Young. And he spills it. Hudson Young's lost this one in contact. And the home crowd's pumped up over that one. Four and a half minutes in. No score, of course. And Hudson Young with the loose carry. The first mistake of the contest. And some good field position here for England. Can they take advantage of it? Let's see, what screen can we have up here? Is England off the back of the scrum? Farnworth attacks the right edge. There we go. That'll be a nice screen to have up for now until we get a try scorer. As England on play 2 march into Australia's territory. Through the hands, right they go. Wellesby's up in the line. Gives it on to Farnworth. Farnworth taken 30 metres out. Halfway through the set here, England. The first real opportunity of the game. And a nice double pump. Well, I thought it was a nice double pump, but they've come up with the mistake. England delaying the pass, and it was too hot to handle. They spilled the ball back and let Australia off the hook. Well, we talked about Japan needing to be near perfect in that test against the Wallabies earlier. Well, England will have to pull off something very similar here. Six minutes gone, no score. I wonder what my dog's found to bark at out there. Scrum down, 25 metres out. Now, the other talking point we didn't really get a chance to go into in the pregame, the very, very small in-goal areas here over in England. We've seen it whenever we cover the World Club Challenge, but tiny, tiny in-goal areas. So Nathan Cleary and Cameron Munster, Reece Walsh, they're going to have to adjust their kicking power accordingly. Because where you would sit that ball up in the end goal in the NRL, it'll be 3 rows back into the crowd. Grant sends it left for Yo. Yo at the back. And Munster caught with the ball. The defense jamming up on him. Play for Australia up to halfway. They've had a lot of possession around this area of the park. Harry Grant down the short side. He's got Angus Crichton, 5th and last now. Back to Cleary, puts this one high. Chasing through hard here, Australia, putting pressure on. But it's a nice take at the back from Johnston. And he gets away from the kick chase of Hudson Young. And Hudson, he's having a night to forget early on here. Missed tackles, drop balls. There has, of course, been a little bit of time off for these Australian players. Tom Young now bends the line and goes through. Brought down from behind by Munster. Quick ruck ball now. And Williams puts the kick through. Bounces up for Farnworth. Farnworth draws in Walsh. Walsh bats it down. And that is a knock on. Well, Reece Walsh, he's probably saved a try, but he's knocked it on. And England can launch an attack now. 8 minutes gone. They'll have a full set of 6, 40 metres out. And it was Dom Young straight through Isaiah Yo and Pat Carrigan. Miscommunication in defence. Dominic Young, a name that should be very familiar with the NRL supporters in the chat room. Well, a solid enough start to this game as Isaiah Yo leaves the field for HIA. Well, that's a big loss early on. Who comes on? That'll be interesting. HIA for the captain, Isaiah Yo. As England win the scrum and they go down the short side. Farnworth takes the line on. Dummies. Backs into the defence. 30 metres out. Ruben Cotter's on the field. So there we go. So there's another opportunity for England. 25 metres out just to the right of the posts. Play 2. This will be the first venture from either side into the red zone. Should they get there? And they keep it alive now. Lewis driven back in the tackle by Staggs. Halfway through the set, just outside the 20. Pierce Paul bumps off Harry Grant. Grant comes back at him. And with the help of Cotter, brings him down. 2 tackles left. Inside the red zone. Williams Goes out the back for Wellesby. Harbour Bridge ball over the top of everybody and into touch. And you know you've got to throw that ball pretty bloody high to get it over the head of Dominic Young. Poor execution. It was the right idea, but they're just lacking the execution. Fox was a long way in field. And the pass doesn't hit the mark. Australia let off the hook. 10 minutes gone. No score. But England, they've come to play. They're firing some shots. They're asking some questions. Let's see if they can keep it up for the full 80. Hudson Young with another carry. Stags now. Good leg drive. Wardle gets in and holds him up. But the damage has been done halfway through the set. Australia up towards halfway. Through the hands left they go now. Walsh with the dummy. And he's flung down by Herbie Farnworth and George Williams. 40 metres out from the line. Grant goes from dummy half, fifth and last. 11 minutes gone. No score. Cleary with the crossfield kick. No one need to say chasing, putting pressure on, but it's taken at the back again by Johnston. Oh, he's been secure under the high ball. Lazar says Reese needs more of the toilet water. It was amazing, wasn't it? Like that whole... Yeah, it's almost like he needs the negative focus, the negative publicity. The negative press seems to drive him. That's not necessarily a good thing. But ever since that whole toilet gate, he just came out the back of that and exploded, didn't he? The back end of the season. England up to halfway here on the fifth and last. Williams gets the kick away. Taken on the full at the back by Walsh. Here he comes. Taken down 30 metres out from their own line here, Australia. No one. And Reece Walsh has dropped the ball. Walsh with the mistaken contact. And this will be England's ball. Rocks or diamonds, Walshy's back. And it's been all rocks tonight. "13 minutes gone. No score, but here come England again. Hot on the attack. Oh, they've challenged it here, Australia. Okay, Australia have challenged the call of knock on. Mr. Ed's dead. Ahoy, mate. Well, I tell you what. Reece Walsh, he seemed dead set certain. Looking to get up and play the ball quickly. He plants it down. He lets go of it. And it looks like this is going to be a successful challenge. Wow. What an interesting call. Successful challenge. And 13 minutes in, we're going to see a first penalty. As Cleary puts this into touch, up over halfway. Australia, they get their first full set of 6 inside England's half. This is dangerous. 40 metres out on play 1. Fa'asuamaleaui takes the tackle. Carrigan sends it left for Cotter. Cotter on the field, of course, for Isaiah Yeo, who's gone off for a HIA. Grant sends it back in field for Carrigan. Carrigan marches inside the 30. Halfway through the set. This is a pressure situation now for England. Cleary to the line. Goes out the back nicely for Walsh. Walsh taken down 20 out. The defense lined him up. They saw him coming. Cleary again, heading crossfield. Bounce pass, sits up nicely for Crichton. Crichton heading back in field. Fending off one. Taken by Pierce Paul. Pierce Paul wraps the ball up. No cohesion at the moment in Australia's attack. As down the short side, Cleary pops this one high. Contestable kick. Oh, taken nicely at the back again by Johnston. And Tom Johnston has been safe as a house under the high ball tonight. Farnworth trying to get some go forward. England have survived. Yes, just a real lack of cohesion in attack here from Australia as Young beats the first tackle again. Short side, Williams holds the pass up for Bateman. 2 tackles left. England trapped inside their own 40. A settler in midfield, 5th and last. Big kick needed. Goes to Williams. Williams is taken out after the kick. But it sits up for Nwanga Nitawase. That was fair play, says the referee. And now England hold Nwanga Nitawase up and drive him towards the sideline, but he stays in. Good field position here for Australia. Staggs heads across field. Beats the first tackle. Ducks under a second. And he brings it up to the 40. Munster wants it on the left. Feigns to kick. Goes to Walsh. Walsh with the cutout pass to nobody. And it goes into touch. Oh. Little Reese Weesey, the superstar. Nothing but errors so far tonight. Where was this in the grand final? Could have saved us all. Shocker of a pass. He thought he was throwing it to Dominic Young. The Fox is not that tall, mate. "16 minutes gone. No score in this one. Can you believe? I would have thought that Australia would be up by at least 12 by now. "45 out. Here come England. Another opportunity. They're going to have to ice one of these at some point, obviously. If they want to be any chance in this game. They've lost it. On play one, they've come up with a mistake. Hudson Young in the 2-man tackle with Angus Crichton. And a mistake on play one. Unforgivable. Well, it was Cotter. It was Crichton. And that's forcing the ball free. Dear, oh dear. Just starting to slip away from England a little bit. Their last ventures down into Australia's half have ended with mistakes, incomplete sets. Cleary feeds the scrum. They bring it right for Nwanga Nitawase with the first hit up. Staggs it was, sorry. Hudson Young now driven back inside the 40. Big defense from England. 17 and a half gone, no score. For Asawa Malawi, backs into the line. Halfway through the set, they've really gone nowhere. It's been good defense. Carrigan, out the back it goes. Well read by England's defense. Jamming up on Nathan Cleary. And shutting him down on halfway. Carrigan goes again. 40 metres out from the line, 5th and last. That was a great defensive set from England. Munster with the kick, puts it high. Fox chasing through. Pressure on Dom Young. Fox takes it, and he can't get the offload away. Dom Young makes the tackle. He was happy to just surrender the ball in the air. And that'll be a handover 10 meters out from the line. Risky from Dom Young, but it worked out. It's always risky if you just stand back and let the opposition take those high balls. Well, we're almost a quarter of a way through this contest and no score as Farnworth gets the late offload to Williams. Williams with the goose step taken by Shibasaki. 30 out from their own line here, England. Halfway through the set. Australia just starting to dominate territory, starting to dominate possession. England have got to get them back into the grind. Down the short side, Williams to Farnworth. Steps back in field, Herbie. And he's taken down on halfway, fifth and last. Oh, he's hurt himself, has he? Herbie's hurt. Oh, this is terrible for my multi. No, he seems okay. A little bit of a cramp. And the kick from Williams on halfway sends it deep. Taken by Walsh. Walsh now lines up the short side. And he brings it back to the 30, looking for a quick play the ball. Heading crossfield now, Australia. Nwanga Nitawase gets a one-on-one. Can't put the fend on Johnston. And Tom Johnston, he's been a standout player for England so far in this opening half. Cleary into dummy half. Nwanga Nitawase with the carry. Up over halfway they go now. Hudson Young backs into the line. 20 minutes gone, no score. I can't believe it. As Harry Grant kicks early, kicks in behind. Needs this to sit up, and it does. Nicely taken by Welsby, though, who gets away from the first kick chase. And Welsby's taken down inside the 10. Big defense from Australia. Nice vision from Harry Grant there. Spotted the space in behind. But England, to their credit, at the moment, they just continue holding on. Dom Young now, halfway through this set. Short side, Williams. The cutout pass is read well as the Fox jams in and makes the tackle. Fifth and last, they've only gone 26 meters. Big kick needed here from Williams. And he finds the space. Nwanga Nitawase gets a kind bounce, though, as he allows it to fall. And again, Australia, they're just controlling the ball around that, around their own 30-meter line, the England's 30-meter line. Short side play. Who's this on the field? Lindsay Collins. Takes it up to halfway. Munster at first receiver. Out the back for Cleary. Holds the pass up for Walsh. Walsh with the cutout pass to Nwanga Nitawase. Fires it back in field for Staggs. Staggs for Walsh. There's the first try. Oh, the showboating goof with a big swan dive. Just put it down normally, you goose. And Australia with the first try. I tell you what, they got away with a forward pass or two in that sequence. The try's been awarded, though. And Australia finally on the board. Potentially. This one's not been awarded yet. They got Nwanga Nitawase one-on-one. Oh, and there we go. This is what we're looking at. Potential obstruction on Mikey Lewis. Now, Mikey Lewis is sliding across. And he jumps on the outside. He is tripped up by Collins. I don't think that's really affected the play, though. I'm much more concerned about the forward pass. Not this one. But the pass back in field from Nwanga Nitawase. Well, Collins has run into the line and braced himself, in fairness. There's the forward pass. A mile forward back in field from Nwanga Nitawase. Oh, I would laugh my ass off if he's dropped it. He hasn't, though, of course. Try will be awarded. And look, I'm happy enough with the clearing of the contact in the defensive line. I'm not at all happy with that forward pass that was let go. I suppose it was only about 5 meters forward, though. We've seen a lot worse. We have seen a lot worse. As Nathan Cleary converts, and Australia leads 6 points to 0. But boy, they've had to work for it. 23 minutes into the contest before they've got the first points on the board. And even then, it was slightly dubious. I understand we had the camera angle looking from behind. That always exaggerates it a little bit. But a blatant forward pass back in field. He's making up for Robin Penrith, says Gary Johnson, as England get us back underway. 23 minutes gone, 6 points to 0. And big defense here from England, keeping Australia pinned down in their own 22 here. Grant goes from dummy half, catches some lazy markers. Munster into dummy half, sends it over to Carrigan in midfield. Carrigan takes it just outside the 30. Collins now to the line. Fifth and last, just short of halfway. Cleary waits for it, backs himself inside the 40. Snaps it upfield straight to Johnston. They're targeting Johnston a lot with these kicks. And he is well and truly up to the task at the moment. Tom Johnston. Been a standout for England as they're very slow to get back behind the ball here, England. Dom Young up to the 40. Williams takes the line on and he gets into Australia's territory. It was Lewis. My apologies. This is Williams. Williams heads sideways, trying to find a lazy defender, but all he finds is the shoulder of Cameron Munster. Fifth and last, 40 out. Mikey Lewis gets the kick away. A contestable ball, is it? No, the Fox backs up and takes it. Farnworth's been pulled down off the ball there, and that should be a penalty to England. Oh, they're getting away with murder here, Australia. Herbie Farnworth was pulled down by Reece Walsh off the ball, and that got Australia an extra 10 meters or so on the kick return. Boy, oh boy. It seems like the protected species that is Reece Walsh has filtered over into International Rugby League as well. I can't believe he's got away with that. Cleary plays it. Hudson Young up to halfway. Loses it. Oh, Hudson Young's nightmare continues. And England with an opportunity now to hit back. 45 meters out. And a 7-tackle set. Johnston takes 3 to bring him down. That's play 1. 35 out in midfield. Williams sends it right to Bateman. Bateman with the short ball. Munster looks to steal this one away. Williams to Lewis. Goes out the back. Here's Wardle. Bobbles the ball. And Australia in over the top. Drive him over the sideline. They got it all horribly wrong there, England. Well, they started so well, but they're falling to pieces now very rapidly. Every time they venture down into Australia's half, incomplete set. It's been about 10 minutes, I think, since they last completed a set down in Australia's half. You're not going to win games of footy like that. the difference here in the stats. Australia with 152 hit-up meters, England 67. I mean, that's a huge difference. It's over double, of course. Munster throws it inside. Cut out pass to Cleary. Cleary onto Hudson Young. Young holds onto the ball in contact this time. Sarcastic round of applause for him. Grant down the short side for Cleary. Pierce-Paul holds him up and rocks him backwards in the tackle. By Pierce-Paul with huge contact. Grant from dummy half. Heads in field. All floats now for Cotter. Cotter's held up by Bateman and brought to ground, fifth and last. Bang on halfway here, Australia. Cleary. They're going to run here on the fifth and last. Stags to Nwangani-Tuase in space. Fires the pass back in field for Cleary. And Cleary slips. Gets up and offloads. It's been touched by England. 6 more tackles. Young sends it to Cotter. And Cotter's wrapped up and slung down by Farnworth. But it's 6 more tackles. England got the touch on the ball. Everything's starting to fall the way of the Kangaroos. Shibasaki, flick pass back in field for Crichton, who spells it. Big mistake. Shibasaki with the no-look flick pass back in field, out of the back of the hand, and Angus Crichton couldn't hold on. What a let-off. They had just got the 6 again. Geez, it was poor service from Shibasaki. Should have just taken it to ground because Crichton wasn't through the gap anyway. .28.5 gone, 6 points to nil. Both teams are a little bit of a shambles at the moment after an intense start where nobody really threw too much at the game. Both teams now find themselves a little bit of a shambles. England from the scrum, inside their own 10. They've had their opportunities. Nothing to show for it. Oh, nice. Lazar watching the game and considering some late night Sultana, Bren. Very nice. Let's remind me of that at halftime, Lazar. We'll have a chat about breakfast cereals. People get upset if I do it during the game. Rightfully so. Bateman now carries up to the 40. Halfway through this set, England staying on the short side. But breaking away from dummy half. Trying to find some space. Fifth and last, just short of halfway. Lewis puts it through the hands. They're going to run here. Doing something a little different. Wardle in space. Dummies. Wardle goes straight through. Dummies again. And Reece Walsh knocks the ball down. Pierce-Paul picks it up. 6 more tackles here for England. Another try-saving bat down from Reece Walsh. Angling back in is Walmsley. 10 metres out. Here's the opportunity for England. Lewis. Pop pass up from McMeekin. 2 metres out, just to the right of the post. Williams out the back for Herbie. Oh no, it's Welsby, sorry. And the Fox jams in on Welsby and brings him down. Halfway through the set now. Farnworth into dummy half. Here's Williams at first receiver. Through the hand. Oh, it's gone out the back to nobody. Wardle has to scramble back, and he can't get away from Nathan Cleary. They've lost about 30 metres. That's really poor. They're all the way back to the 40. They were inside the red zone. They're all the way back to the 40. Pierce-Paul with the late offload to Lytton. Fifth and last, but they're a long way out now, England. They've lost another opportunity. Williams to the line. Chips over the top. Looking for Dom Young. The Fox takes it. Young wraps him up, though, and takes him down a couple of metres out from their own try line here, Australia. Shibasaki now held up and driven backwards. England, that was really poor. Nwangani-Tuase now a little upright. Taken to ground just outside the 10, halfway through this set. Crichton up to the 20. Fends off Bateman. Bateman getting himself in the way, making a nuisance. Grant has to scoop it up and scurry away. Through the hands now. They're going to make something out of nothing here, Australia. Nwangani Tuase gets the hands free, and Staggs loses it. England will have another opportunity. They have got to take advantage here. They've been given so many opportunities as this Australian team is failing to click, failing to gel. These opportunities cannot be given up. Aussie John, your mum is due home in 3 weeks. You can't find the words to describe how overwhelmingly happy you are. That is fantastic, mate. That is such good news. And I am so overwhelmingly happy for you, my friend. That is exciting stuff. Seven minutes to go until the halftime break. Paddy Cash. Wow. That's not who I expected to see up there. Penalty to England, right out in front, as Harry Grant strips the ball out illegally. Now, do they just take the 2 and put some points on the board? They need something to show for this to England. They tap and go. Lewis to McMeekin. 25 metres out. Dummy in the short side is Litton. Brings it back open side. Showing good strength. Taken down by Hazard Grant. 15 metres out. Williams onto Welsby. They jam up on Welsby again. He's been given no space tonight, Welsby. He is, of course, one of the big attacking threats. Williams, inside ball. 4 tackles gone. 10 metres out from the line here, England. They haven't really fired a shot at the moment. Williams, Grubbers in behind. Needs this to sit up. Cleary gets back and bats it dead. Nice work there from England. They get a result. Australia goes short with the dropout, and England have lost the ball. A knock on. The Kangaroos get the result. England have cocked it up again. Hmm. 5 minutes to go till the halftime break. And it's Australia up 6 points to 0. A scrum down midfield, 10 metres out. Lindsay Collins is already Lindsay Collins is already taped up. Oh, that's fantastic. Shibasaki from the scrum. 20 metres out from their own line here, Australia. Lazar says England drop the ball, but don't dare spill a pint. Well, that would be unforgivable. There can't be any waste. Zero wastage. What I always say. Zero waste. Carrigan onto Cletus. Cletus Cotter takes it up to the 40. Australia getting themselves back in field position. Munster with the dummy. Takes tackle 4 on the halfway line. Slow play the ball. Grant scoops it up and finds space straight up the middle. Harry Grant taken down inside the 40. What a run there from Hazza. Munster now from dummy half. Skews it slightly off the side of the boot, but Fox flying through. Puts pressure on Young. It bounces off the shoulder. And Reece Walsh with a forward pass back in field. Oh, don't tell me that's going to be allowed to go. Oh, don't tell me this is being allowed. It's going up as no try. Now, the bunker cannot rule on forward passes just the same as here in the NRL. And the most protected species in the game gets away with another illegality. The only thing that will save England from this atrocity is if there's other foul play in the lead up to this. Now the Fox has just come flying through and he's bumped Dominic Young off in the air. This will be a penalty to England. Lucky, because this was the most forward pass you'll ever see in your entire life from Reece Walsh. I cannot believe the referee's right there in line with him. And I cannot believe that wasn't called forward. So a fairly blatant bump off the ball there from the Fox on Dom Young. And it will be a penalty to England. Boy, oh boy, I cannot believe. And they're not showing a replay of it. That's how far forward it was. Let's see if they show it this time all the way through. The Fox just charges into Dom Young, takes his legs out. Oh, and they do show a replay of it. Well, it was only about 8 meters forward, that one. We've seen Reece Walsh throw bigger ones than that. In fairness. Only about 8 meters, that one. Well, anyway, justice prevails in the end. I can't believe that wasn't called on field. All the officials missed that. England up over halfway. Wardle with quick hands onto Johnston. Kicks it back in field. Needs it to sit up for Lewis. It runs dead. It beats everybody over the dead ball line. But England finally asked some questions. They've opened them up down that left edge. Two minutes to go till the break. Australia on the back of a 7-tackle set. They should get an opportunity here. At least for a result and a couple more plays. I just can't believe the forward passes. I thought that they let forward passes go in the NRL. Holy hell. Oh, boy. I thought they let forward passes go in the NRL, but what I just witnessed there from Reece Walsh, right in front of the official. Carrigan now bends the line, gets the pass away to Walsh. Walsh was tackled early. Well, I tell you what. With 1 minute to go until the halftime break, they will step up and have a shot at 2. Yeah, and I tell you what, if you're going to do anything at all off the ball, do not do it to the most protected species since Jonathan Thurston. JC Smoke says, is the green card actually being enforced in the Ashes test? Well, you know what? I have seen JC Smoke 0 milking. So I've got a feeling it probably is. We haven't seen it yet because nobody has stayed down and tried to milk a penalty. So I've got a feeling that it is being used. It's interesting, the impact that it's had. That's one thing that has been very noticeable in this opening half, as Australia are about to take an 8-0 lead into the halftime break. Apart from the fact that forward passes are even less enforced than in the NRL. That's been one of the most noticeable things that I've seen. The players are not staying down and milking. Cleary puts it over. Australia lead 8-0 at the break. And I tell you what, that is probably a justifiable scoreline based on the dominance of the stats. Australia have been right on top, but they've been far from spectacular. England just lacking execution. Basic execution. They've given themselves opportunities, but, multiple incomplete sets in Australia's half. And, they don't really deserve to be in it at all, to be honest, the way that it's gone. So, yeah, the green card is an interesting one. I kind of want to see one. JC Smoke says, who do I think will be the first player to get the green card? Well, it'll have to be Reece Walsh, right? During the NRL season, he stayed down after every single tackle and held his head. So he's got to be a pretty good candidate. Lazar says, England have a good excuse to blame the ref at least. Oh, he really has been atrocious. I kind of laughed a little bit at Gary Johnson. I was thinking to myself, because basically, here's the backstory. Gary Johnson, and here we go. I'll actually highlight this most recent comment. Gary Johnson said in the chat room before the game, I apologize in advance for our referees. And I said to him, there is no plausible way they could be any worse than what we see week in, week out in the NRL. Well, my God. I have to take it all back. Australia's try off one of the biggest forward passes you'll ever see. Or so I thought. Until he let the second one go. Reece Walsh threw it forward around his back about 10 meters. Right in front of him. And he just waved it off. Luckily for England, there was contact in the air from Josh Adokar on Dominic Young's legs, which saved the try. Otherwise, that would have been an absolute atrocity. The fact that that wasn't called. And look, in fairness, just benefit of the doubt, the referee never did award the try. He sent it upstairs. He said, no try. We'll send it upstairs and have a look. He wanted to have a look at that potential contact in the air. Maybe if they cleared that contact in the air, maybe if that got cleared, he would come back for the forward pass. Maybe. You would like to think. We never got to see that happen. I'd like to think that that's how it would have played out, but, oh, jeez. JC Smoke says how Adokar didn't get 10 in the bin is a surprise. Yeah. You know what? Honestly, nothing surprises me anymore. This year, quite honestly, and I really do hate to sound like a whinger. I hate to sound like a crybaby. But the standard of refereeing alone has made rugby league very, very difficult to follow this year. I mean, it must be said. The standard of officiating really raises questions. I mean, it has been atrocious. And I applaud Peter V'landys and Andrew Abdo for trying to expand the game and grow the game worldwide. But, I mean, geez, you've got to... What is it they say? You've got to sort out your own backyard first before you worry about everywhere else. I mean, they've really got to tidy up the officiating in this sport. I mean, it has been atrocious. That's all I'll say about it. Chris Bradley, ahoy. Yes, the refs have been so subpar this year, says Chris Bradley, and it has made it very, very difficult to watch. as we're seeing some replays of Australia's first try. A pretty big forward pass, but not as big as the second one that almost led to a try. JC Smoke, you missed when it was 2 refs on the field. Yep. So we could get twice as many errors, right? Twice as many mistakes. I'm joking, of course. I'm just mucking around, having a laugh. It must have been confusing, though, the 2 referees on the field. I think, I might be mistaken, but I think Rugby Union tried it at one stage as well. Did they not? Hang on, let's find that out. Actually, it doesn't matter. We know for a fact they tried it in Rugby League. Wow, there it is. They've just shown a replay of it again. I can't believe that was even let go. Now, they still absolutely should have had a look for the contact in the air from the Fox, but I cannot believe that wasn't immediately called a forward pass. Stevie Wonder saw that one, as they say. Speak of the devil, there's actually a theory that Stevie Wonder... Well, here's the thing. I've heard Stevie Wonder is, what's the word? Medically blind, but he can actually... He's not completely blind, is what I'm trying to say. He is declared medically blind, but he can actually make out some things, is my understanding. Because there's actually video footage. Now, I understand. I'm going down a little bit of a rabbit hole here, and I apologize. If you're not interested in this, I do apologize. I'll keep it quick. But I do understand, if you're blind, your other senses heighten. So I get that. But there is actually video footage of Stevie Wonder on stage, microphone like this in front of him, and Stevie Wonder's on stage with the glasses on, and somebody walks across in front of him and bumps the microphone stand, and the microphone stand falls, and Stevie Wonder reaches out with his left hand and catches the microphone. Now, I understand the other senses are heightened. He would have heard the bump. He would have kind of potentially felt the motion. He would have sensed the person walking past in front of him, heard the bump, and maybe just coincidence, he stuck his hand out, a natural reaction, and it just happened to go perfectly into his hand. But I'm saying, it's not a problem either way. Whether he is completely blind as a bat or not is irrelevant to me. Fabulous musician, beautiful music, and I love the man. I just think it's interesting. It's an interesting topic of conversation, and it's good banter for half-time. That's what I think. JC Smoke says South Africa and New Zealand have trialled having 2 refs on the field back in 2010. There you go. I thought it had happened. I think it actually makes sense in rugby union. You probably don't need it in rugby league, but in rugby union, it actually makes sense. Imagine having a dedicated official just monitoring the breakdown. I actually think rugby union could justifiably have, NFL-style referees. You know, the NFL's got all those. Now, it might be a little bit overkill to have that many refs on the field. You've already got the assistant referees. Yeah, but I feel like there could be more. There could be a dedicated breakdown referee, because what that would do, it would free up the main match official to take his focus back on other things, like the ensuing plays, the offside line. The offside line is supposed to be monitored by the assistant referees, but it isn't really, is it? Chris Bradley says another thing about Stevie Wonder. Lady Gaga blew a kiss to him in the crowd, and he blew one back. Yes, I remember that one as well. They tried to talk that one off as a coincidence. And Shaq tells a story. Good old Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal. He tells a story about how he got into an elevator with Stevie Wonder, and Stevie said, "Hey, Shaq." So Shaq is convinced Stevie Wonder's not completely blind. And like I said, it doesn't matter. It matters not whether he is or he isn't. Such a great musician. Absolutely love the man. As I said, it's really interesting. Like maybe he's, in wrestling terms, maybe he's like playing up a gimmick. We know one thing for sure. He's definitely legally blind. The question is, legally blind doesn't mean you just have complete darkness. Legally blind can be a certain level of still having some visibility. XJC, ahoy, mate. But anyway, I digress. 8 points to 0 here at the halftime break. One try converted. Questionable at best. A clear forward pass from Nwanganitawase. And a penalty goal to Nathan Cleary. England have had their chances, but failing to capitalise, failing to execute. Gary Johnson says it's kind of strange watching a game at a normal time instead of getting up at some ungodly hour to hang out with you guys live for the NRL like you've done all year. Well, I appreciate it, Gary Johnson. Very much appreciate it, mate. But yes, I highly recommend checking out Stevie Wonder. I wonder what Stevie Wonder catches microphone is probably what you would say. And Stevie Wonder Shaq would be the other thing so that you can hear the Shaq story. Stevie Wonder. Yes, okay, Stevie Wonder microphone. First result. Is Stevie Wonder really blind? It's a 9-second clip of him catching the microphone that falls. It gets bumped and he reaches out and grabs it. Geordie, ahoy, mate. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about at halftime as well, Lazza. Let's see if anybody remembers this, because I'm sure this used to be a thing. I'm sure that this is not a, what is it, Mandela effect? I'm positive this is not the Mandela effect in motion. This was actually a thing. Now, Lazza was talking about potentially having himself some late night Sultana bran. I was a big fan of Kellogg's Sultana and wheat bran. Now it was obviously it was the Sultanas of Sultana bran, just with an added little balls of wheat, and it was fantastic. And I cannot, for the life of me, find anything even remotely similar in 2025. As much as I've tried, now I'm sure that this thing used to exist. I'm positive this is not the Mandela effect. This thing absolutely used to exist. And I remember eating it a lot as a kid. Oh, my God, it is absolutely sickening the way that they wank on about this bloke. Honestly, I can completely understand why people get sick of the TV commentary, which is great for us and great for channels like us, because it means there's a market for it. But, oh my God, it's like every time Reece Walsh is on the screen, it's like that bloody, that South Park episode with Randy Marsh with the creme fraiche. Oh, creme fraiche. Lazza says Kellogg's is the Sultana brand I had, and yes, I remember Sultanas and wheat bran. Thank you. All right. If it's a Mandela effect, it's only affected us two people. Oh, maybe it was a Brisbane exclusive. How about that? Maybe Sultanas and Wheat Bran was trialled in Brisbane and it never made it out of Brisbane. And that's why I can't find anything about it anymore. Legally blind. Thank you, Aussie John. I've been saying medically blind, haven't I? Legally blind is the official term. Thank you, Aussie John. All right, teams are coming out for the second half. I'll have a quick break myself and we'll be right back. Grab myself another six-pack while I'm out there. As the second half about to get underway, and it looks like, well, there's either some people still at the back getting some drinks at the bar, going to the toilet, or some people have filtered out at the halftime break. Second half underway. England with first use. 20 metres out from their own line. Can they hit back? 8-0 in a rather unconvincing effort so far from the Kangaroos. Look for the second half to open up a little bit, I dare say. .40 metres out from their own line, and an early kick here from inside the 40. Finding space in behind. It angles towards the touchline, but Walsh picks it up with a lot of room to spare, and he heads off across field. Now he straightens, gets into open space. Walsh has got support from the Fox. Fox lurking up on the inside. Numbers everywhere here for Australia. What an ankle tap from Herbie. Try-saving ankle tap from Herbie Farnworth. But Australia with front foot ball now. 20 metres out. Munster with the show and go. Munster into space. Dragged down 10 metres out. Grant looks down the short side. Brings it back open. Here's Collins. Collins a couple of metres out. What a start to the second half. Grant delays the pass, wraps around and gets it on the offload. Grant gets it back for Hudson Young. Hudson Young scores, does he? Oh, Wellesby gets in under the ball and holds him up. Jack Wellesby, what an effort. Hudson Young was in for all money. Back to the 10 metres line. Australia play it. Cleary out the back for Carrigan. Short ball for Cotter. 5 metres out now. Fifth and last. Grant back to Cleary for the crossfield kick. Lands it perfectly. Taken by Nwanganituase, but the ball's ripped away, and England have it a metre out from their own line. Well, not even centimetres out from their own line. And that'll be a handover. England under the pump here to start the second half. But they've survived for now. Crucially, here's Farnworth. Takes it outside the red zone. Halfway through the set. McMeekin carries outside the 30. Williams now with a little bit of space. Taken down. Up on the 40 metres. Back for Lewis. Keeps it low and flat. Angles it into touch. And he'll find touch about 25 or so, 30 metres out from Australia's line. 3.5 gone in the second half. Australia up 8-0. Aussie John, you missed Pizza Haven and Sizzler. Pizza Haven was great, wasn't it? I remember when it first came about, they had just like the fluffiest, crunchiest crust, and it was so good. No one need to say takes tackle 1. Carrigan in midfield. Australia out to their own 40. 4 minutes gone in the second half. Oh, Cotter bobbles the ball. Does well to get it on the second attempt. Cleary holds the pass up nicely for Hudson Young. Taken on halfway. 2 tackles left. Grant scoops it up. Munster into Cletus in midfield. Cotter's put on his back. 5th and last. 40 metres out in midfield. Grant sends it left for Munster. They're going to run here, and Angus Crichton goes straight through. Crichton's got support. Does he need it? No, he doesn't. Angus Crichton goes all the way, and he gets us our first tick off the multi. Sir Angus Crichton, what an effort. Try's been awarded, but they're going to have a look. Now, as I often say, if it looks too easy, it probably was. There might be an issue here. But at the moment, Angus Crichton has just gone the distance on his own. Oh, tell me you put it down. Are we checking grounding? Tell me you put this ball down. Yes, he did. Angus Crichton gets our first tick off the multi. What an individual effort. Oh, the ball did come away a little bit here. The ball does come away a little bit. He's maintained control of that, though, surely. The ball does separate ever so slightly. Try's been awarded. There's our first tick of the night. Angus Crichton. There we go. All right. More than happy for this game to open up now. Australia have got it in the bag. There's, England haven't really shown any attacking prowess to show that they can come back from this margin, which is about to be 14 points. So Australia have got the win. I'm calling it. Gary Johnson's calling it. I'm calling it as well. Australia have got the win now, and that was the match winner. But we can hope for at least one consolation try for Herbie Farnworth would be nice. Australia, I think, will run away with it now. Five and a half minutes into the second half. They just gave it up a little bit too early and a little bit too easily there, England. I think that is huge, huge danger signs. Australia just starting to click into gear. Cleary taking his time, lining this one up. Moves in, strikes it well. Cleary's on target. Of course he is. And Australia up 14-0. Now, watch this game open up. Lazar says England can blame the ref. Well, as I said, there have been some dubious calls, but they can only blame themselves, really. Incomplete sets. Every time they got down in Australia's half in that first 40, incomplete sets. Simple mistakes early in the tackle count as well. They haven't had an opportunity to mount any sort of pressure or attack. And the one time that they did, they created a potential repeat set. They knocked the ball on from the short restart. The goal line dropout. Harry Grant from dummy half, dumped by Kai Pearce-Paul. What a huge hit. 5th and last. Big kick needed here for Munster from inside his own 40. Sends it down the middle of the field, and it sits up for Welsby. Welsby charges onto it. Bumps off Carrigan. Cleary brings him down there with Hudson Young and spills the ball. 6 more tackles, though. It's gone backwards and off Australia. Well, I mean, that's surely a penalty for an illegal strip then, if that's the case. I would have thought, but anyway. Aussie John, you purchased an Iron Man helmet, and it has some very cool special effects. Oh, that's awesome. Pop to your drop, of course. Selling some helmets at the moment. Star Wars related, though. Down the short side, Bateman takes on Shibasaki. Collins is around the legs to bring him down. Halfway through the set here, England. I've written them off, so can they prove me wrong? Numbers to the left. Lewis takes the line on. Cleary wraps him up. 7 on 7. And Cleary wins that little battle. Pierce Paul, late offload, keeping the ball alive. England in midfield now. Welsby fires the pass out wide to the right. Space for Young. Dom Young down the short side. Throws the ball into Reece Walsh's face. And lack of execution again here from England. Talk about forward passes. We'll have a scrum down in midfield on the 20-metre line. Total metres gained. Australia, 867. England, 582. I mean, my goodness. Talk about lopsided. It's quite phenomenal, really. When you look at it from that perspective, it's quite phenomenal that Australia are only up by 14 points, to be perfectly honest. Feels like this one should be a little bit more of a blowout. As Cotter with the inside ball to Crichton. And Angus Crichton, he is having a day out. 50 minutes gone, 14-0. And Australia halfway through this set. Carrigan with the short ball to Collins. Collins stands in the 3-man tackle. Now he's brought to ground. Just short of halfway. 2 tackles left. Grant goes down the short side. Cleary holds the pass up nicely, but well defended here from England. 5th and last. Back to Munster. Munster puts the kick up. Or Walsh it was, sorry. Puts the kick up. Welsby takes it at the back. And England have it on their own 20. Looking very flat-footed and slow to retreat here, England. Big defense. Driving Johnston backwards. Struggling to get any go forward here, England. Here's Dom Young. Late pass for Farnworth. Farnworth with another late offload. But they're going nowhere. 2 offloads in that sequence, and they only scored 5 metres. With 2 offloads in the same play, you would expect at least a 20-metre gain. From inside the 40, looking for a 40-20. Talk about a momentum swinger. Jez Litton has pulled it off. There's one person in the crowd who's particularly excited about it. An early kick, play 2. And it dribbles into touch just inside the 20. Well, here's an opportunity that they absolutely must take advantage of here, England. They must. Litton to Williams. Pass out the back. Now Farnworth charging onto it. Munster brings him down. 10 metres out over on this near touchline. Trout settles it down in midfield. Halfway through the set. Williams off the left boot. Steps. Loses the ball in contact. Reece Walsh now runs away with it. And he's away upfield. And he's taken down 40 out from their own line. England again. 3 tackles, dropped ball. In the red zone. Oh, milking! Walsh is milking. Send him off. Green card. There we go. I did. Well, it hasn't been called, but that was the first real opportunity for a green card. And it was my boy Reece Walsh. Like I predicted, danger, danger. 40 metres out from the line now, Australia. But England again on the attack. Incomplete set. They only got through 3 tackles. Cleary with the dummy. Taken down. 30 metres out. Potter onto Munster. Munster, dummies inside, spins, and he's brought to ground. Tackle 4. Incomplete sets in the red zone again, killing England. Grant goes on a scurry, kicks over the top for himself, needs it to sit up, and it's battered dead by Wellesby, and it will be a goal line dropout. Perfectly placed kick there from Harry Grant. .53.5 gone, Australia. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily say that they've been dominating in that sense, as England look to go short, and it doesn't even get close to the 10. Well, now it does bounce the 10, and Dominic Young comes down with it. What a bit of luck there for England. That was nowhere near going the 10 metres. And it bounces kindly for Dom Young. Herbie Farnworth has taken offence to Cameron Munster's focus on the neck. Herbie Farnworth has really taken offence here. They were giving his neck a good working over. I don't know what England have to do to win a penalty in this game. Collins and Munster both up around the neck. And understandably, Herbie's taken offence to it. Well, all they can do is have a laugh, I suppose. Farnworth plays it. 20 out from their own line here, England. Halfway through the set. Slow play the ball. Lewis to Williams. They attack left. Wardle tries to get on the outside, but Staggs up to the challenge. Tackle 4 centimetres in from that touchline. Here's Paul from a standing start. Takes the 5th and last. 40 out from their own line here, England. Going nowhere fast. And back to Lewis for the kick. It's allowed to bounce. Walsh trudging across, but charging onto it is the Fox. And Josh Adokar has it for Australia again. That same area of the field as we saw in the first half, dominating from their own 30 up to England's 20. And they're just controlling the flow of the game through that area of the field. Shibasaki, just short of halfway. 3 tackles gone. Slow play the ball. Dearden's on the field. On to Cleary. Now Staggs straightens. Staggs carries it inside the 40. Late offload. Keeps the ball alive. Hudson Young now. 30 out. 2 tackles left. That's been one of the differences as well. Australia with an offload making 10, 20 metres. England had 2 offloads in one sequence, made barely 5. Shibasaki taken down 10 out here on the 5th and last. Attacking opportunity here. As the Fox goes off down the short side. And they get 6 more tackles. A set restart. Great heads-up play from Josh Adokar. As Australia come in for the killer punch. Dearden onto Kalaumatangi. Flicks it out the back for Cleary. Cleary's in space. Loses it forward. England off the hook. Big time. Oh, they were absolutely skittled out there to the right. This has been a messy game. But Australia have just taken slightly more opportunities. England have taken none, obviously. But they do get the scrum down here, England. 10 out from their own line. $20 left to play. I can't believe it. I still need Nwanga Nitawase. I still need Stags. And I still need Farnworth. Angus Crichton was a great pick, though. Pretty happy about that. But a wall of Kangaroos defense. Pierce Paul taken down by 3 defenders. They're all over them here. Now they try to spread it wide to the right. Farnworth steps back inside Shibasaki, but Munster's there to bring him down. Just superstar after superstar. Wellesby heads in field. Up around the neck is Kalaumatangi. They can't buy a penalty here, England. 5th and last. Back to Lewis. Kicks from inside the 40. Well, Nwanga Nitawase backs up. Takes it on the full. And he is lined up in contact. Been a bit of a die roll game, to be honest. There's Cleary down the short side for Stags. 30 metres out from their own line here, Australia. 14-0 they lead. Looking very comfortable, but certainly not looking as destructive as we thought this team could be. Dearden with a late pass to Cotter. 2 tackles left. They're on halfway. Munster goes out the back for Walsh. Walsh for Shibasaki. Gets the arms free. Offloads to the Fox. And the Fox spills it. The errors continue to pile on. England will have the scrum. Scrum down. England have it. 20 minutes left to play. Can they come up with anything here, England? A try to Herbie Farnworth. That'd be nice. Poor Gary Johnson in the chats. Just like, this is painful. Oh, the short ball to Pierce Paul. Read well by Cleary. Takes him down in the tackle. A set restart for England at last. They get a call, go their way. Little back into, Litton, sorry, back into midfield. Now Lewis, caught by Munster, and brought to ground. Litton goes again. 15 metres out in midfield, halfway through the set. They go short side. Lewis holds the pass up nicely for Pierce Paul. Inside the 10. Litton takes a couple of steps. Now, Wellesby, gives it on to Farnworth. Farnworth has to stop and cut back in field. And Angus Crichton's got him wrapped up there. 5th and last. Back for Lewis, the crossfield kick. Well, that's a shocker. Kept alive, though, by England. And now the second kick. Scooped up by Nwanga Nitawase. Steps inside Wardle. And he's brought down from behind by Johnston. Oh, well, England, they've just allowed so much space. Australia on the counter-attacks. It's ridiculous the amount of open space they've given them on kick returns and on turnover ball. Ten short of halfway. Here's Kalaumatangi. Taking tackle 4. And another incomplete set, most importantly. Fifth and last, 40 metres out. Cleary in midfield, puts this one high. Sends it deep. It's not contestable. Taken on the full at the back by Johnston. Johnston lines up and he's held on the 10 metres line. What a kick chase. Oh, they've just got nothing, England. Nothing. Now, there were, as I was talking about at the top of the stream, there were big question marks over the team selection. There was a lot of pushback. And I just wonder, will there be some changes for the second test? You feel like there has to be, because this particular team that they picked has just not asked any questions. The kick in behind Reece Walsh. He scoops it up on his own goal line. Heads back into midfield. Lined up in the contact by Wardle. And that's better from England. The Fox carries it outside the 20. So, yeah, they just haven't offered anything on attack. Oh, Australia get a penalty. Well, this is crazy. England haven't been able to buy a penalty this entire match, but they seem to be able to give them away. And if that penalty is for working over on the ground, well, Herbie Farnworth can feel very ripped off after that double team up around the neck that he copped earlier that went unpunished. You understand what I'm trying to say. 14 points to 0. Inside ball for Dearden. Dearden almost cuts through. He's brought down 40 metres out. Grant sends it right for Cleary. Charging onto it is Young. Young backs into the defence and goes to ground for play 3. Australia just starting to click into gear a little bit now. Grant looking for space from dummy half. He's held up 20 metres out. 2 tackles left. Dearden to Cleary. They head left now. Munster dummies. Gets the ball back inside for Crichton. Angus Crichton gets 2. Angus Crichton with a double. $18 points to 0. The kick to come, and Sir Angus Crichton bags a double. Share it around a little bit, would you? Jeez. And England absolutely cooked. We did think that it would be one-way traffic. There was just a glimmer of hope given to us early on that this game might be a contest, but it just slowly but surely, painfully evaporated as the minutes ticked by and the errors started to mount up. It just became painfully obvious that there is a gulf in ability between these two teams. Lazar, England have not scored yet, and they have not even looked like it at any point. Just completely bereft of ideas on attack. 14 minutes left to play. The floodgates could well and truly open up. Cleary with the conversion. Slots it over. Nathan Cleary, 20 points to 0. Boy, what a disappointment. See, the first test, this was England's chance, right? Australia. Ahoy, Mookie. Australia would have been a little bit vulnerable here in the first test, and they were. If England weren't so sucky, Australia were well and truly vulnerable. Oh, don't tell me they've given away another penalty here. It's a dropped ball. They'll challenge this, Australia. This will be a captain's challenge. The referee's called it a knock-on. They are challenging. Harry Grant, it seems like, has the captaincy with Isaiah Yeo off the field. But Australia challenging the call. For Asuamalawe, call for a knock-on, and let's see. He gets up to play it quickly. Well, challenging conclusive. I was going to say, if there's any consistency, they'll be awarded this one. But apparently, you have to be Reece Walsh to get a call go your way in that fashion. Challenging conclusive. England will get possession here. 20 meters out from the line. All right. Can they jag a consolation try? 13 minutes left to play. 20 points the margin. Can they create something here, England? What they have done all game long is dropped the ball roundabout now. So if they complete their set, that will at least be some sort of progress. Slow play the ball. Lytton sends it out to the left. Cut out pass for Williams. Inside for Pierce-Paul. Pierce-Paul fends off one, fends off two. But Asuamalawe comes back at him. And with Kalaumatangi, they pick him up and dump him. 10 meters out from the line. Williams, inside ball. There's Farnworth bumping off one. Fending off Walsh. And he's taken the ground, fifth and last, a meter out. That's our boy, Lytton. Sends it out for Williams. Williams with the delayed pass for Pierce-Paul. Pops it back for Williams. Gives it to Mikey Lewis, but they've lost it here, England. Knocked on in contact. And they just can't win a trick. Stay Hunky asks if anyone's received the yellow card. Well, it's interesting, Stay Hunky. I only once in this whole game, the threat of the green card, right? Only once in this entire game has anybody even remotely thought about staying down in a tackle after contact. No surprise it was Reece Walsh, by the way. Zero surprises there. But it's almost like he realized immediately what he was doing. So he grabbed the back of his head and went, oh, shit. And he got up. It's almost like he realized mid-process what was happening. And he's like, oh, this is not the NRL. As Australia kick early here and find the sideline 25 meters out, England will have possession. But apart from that, nobody's really tried to milk anything. So I'm suggesting that this green card gets implemented in the NRL. I mean, it's been a beautiful sight seeing players just get up and play the ball. It really has been a deterrent. I would not be surprised if we see it implemented in the NRL next season. It's clearly worked. 70 minutes of rugby league and only one player has stayed down clutching at the back of his head. And no surprise, it was Reece Walsh, like I said. Here's Farnworth in space. Steps back in field, but a loose offload is collected by Angus Crichton. And Australia back in possession as England now pushing the passes. Cleary in midfield. Tries to sell a huge dummy out to the right. Ten minutes left to play. England are not going to get any points, are they? Here's Hudson Young. Up to halfway. Munster from a standing start goes to Cleary. Delayed pass out the back to Walsh. Holds it up nicely for Shibasaki. Shibasaki's got the fox, but he goes back inside to his teammate, of course. And Walsh gets a double. Well, Shibasaki could have gone outside to the fox, but no. He only had eyes for his Broncos teammate. 24 points to nil. Kick to come. 9 minutes left to play. It's one-way traffic. Whoops. What an absolutely devastating display from England. I mean, they've just been so poor. $24-0. Kick to come. And still 8 minutes left. One-way traffic. Yeah, it's just no contest, is it? No contest. So I suppose the question is, what do we do? What do we do to improve the state of international rugby league? Because obviously the NRL is a pinnacle of club competition in rugby league. But rugby union dominates worldwide. I mean, we just saw the Wallabies in Japan go 19 points to 15 earlier this afternoon. Wallabies versus Japan was a close, hard-fought contest. What does rugby league have to do? What does rugby league have to put in place to try and elevate the international game? Because this, I'm afraid, 24-0, this is just an embarrassment. Nathan Cleary converts, and it is 26 points to Zippo. Because this is obviously the number one team in the world, Australia. What, England are third or fourth ranked in the world of rugby league? It's embarrassing. Seven minutes left to play. Australia back in possession. Chris Bradley, welcome back, mate. Cleary with the double pump out the back for Walsh. Walsh now sending Nwangani Tuase in open space. What a tackle, though, by Wardle. Nwangani Tuase manages to stay in the field of play, though, and Munster has it in midfield. Puts the fend on. Gets away from Pierce Paul. Straightens the attack inside the 40. Australia have opened them up now. Grant to Dearden. Dearden holds the pass up for Cleary. Gaps everywhere now. Shibasaki loses it. Shibasaki with the knock on. Gaps opening up everywhere. Oh, it's going to be a long old remainder of the series for England, I think. Australia starting to gel, starting to click into gear. Water with a fantastic cover tackle there. Saving the day. 6 minutes left to play. Can they get some consolation points here, England? Bateman on halfway. Dragged down around the collar by Fa'asuamalawe. A dominant tackle. And Kalamatangi in there to help out. Couple of big boppers. Doing some serious damage. Down the short side, Pierce Paul. Good carry. 20 metres out now, England. 3 tackles gone. Lewis. Inside ball there for Knowles. And Beyonce will play it 20 metres out. Lewis again at first receiver. Delayed pass for McMeekin. Gets the late offload back for Welsby. Welsby keeps it alive. Back for Lewis. Grubbers in behind. Was he taken out? No, says the referee. And Staggs dives back into the field of play. Well, they can't. And the penalty is awarded. The bunker has intervened. The kick chase was obstructed, clearly. And I thought they'd got away with another one there, Australia. Well, the captain's challenge, why not? They will lose this one, surely, Australia. England should take the 2 here off the back of this penalty so that they get some points on the board at least. Although, we've had this conversation many times before, haven't we? What's more embarrassing at this point? Scoring 2 points from a penalty goal or having 0? It's almost less embarrassing to have 0 at this point. So obviously I'm just mucking around, having a laugh about taking the 2. But that's a pretty blatant obstruction. And an unsuccessful captain's challenge. 4.5 minutes left to play. England, they tap and go quickly. McMeekin, 5 metres out, just to the right of the post. Set restart. The crash ball there from Knowles. A metre short. From dummy half, Clark fights his way over. They get themselves a consolation try. Too little, too late. Darryl Clark breaks his way over the line. 26-4 kick to come. They break the donut. Conversion successful from right in front. And it is 26 points to 6. Geordie, yes, Aussie ref next time. I never thought that I would say this, but geez, maybe the Aussie ref will be slightly less, will be slightly more impartial. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. I can't believe that I'm saying it, but yes, maybe the Aussie ref will be slightly more impartial. Three minutes left to play. Lazar, yes, indeed. England did get themselves on the board. It won't be donuts. Walsh sends the restart low, flat, deep. And it sits up for England on their 20. McMeekin. Well, Reece Walsh got given player of the match. Of course he did. He could walk out on the field and take a shit and they'd give him player of the match. As it blows up in back play. A lot of shirt grabbing. Tensions boil over. And unfortunately, because there's no more biffo, that's all we'll see. Push and shove, some shirt grabbing, and that's about it. Ah, yes, it was Carrigan versus McMeekin in back play. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Pat, but you're going to lose out on that one, mate. $30 meters out from their own line. England on tackle 2. Dom Young now carries up to the 40. Plays the ball quickly, and some space now opens up around the ruck. England up into Australia's half. Too little, too late. Where was this? Ages ago. Wellesby down the short side. Steps back in field. Taken down by Cleary and for Asawamalawe. Fifth and last, Lewis from 40 out sends it high. It won't be contestable. Walsh comes forward to take it under no threat, but he is picked up and dumped in the tackle. Big defense there from Beyonce Knowles. 2 minutes left to go, as Australia will just presumably wind down the clock here in this final set of the game. England should get it back for a tackle or two. 26 points to 6, though. They're going to kick early here, Australia. On play 3, the Fox chasing through. It bounces awkwardly away from Wellesby, and Wellesby's taken into touch. Fires the no-look pass infield for Dom Young, and Dom Young's tackled in goal. And that play pretty much just sums up the night for England. Nothing has gone their way, and they have not helped themselves. Dominic Young versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green and gold jerseys. I mean, that tells a story in of itself. As England, well, they send it deep, the restart for some reason. The Fox comes down with it. 30 seconds left. Australia can throw everything at this last couple of plays. Dearden onto Kalamatangi. Kalamatangi with good, strong carry. 15 meters out now in midfield. 15 seconds left. Grant goes from dummy half. Holds the pass up for Angus Crichton, who spills it. And Dom Young gets back for the loose ball. That will be full time, you would think. I don't think anybody's interested in packing this scrum. The England coach has tears in his eyes. He's got a lot of questions to answer. A very forlorn look there from the England coach. 26 points to 6. Now, define domination. 20 points is obviously quite a comfortable win. I wouldn't say that it was dominant from Australia. I mean, they've got a lot to fix up themselves. The way that that game played out, they probably should have won by 50. That's what I'm suggesting. So, yeah, I'm questioning the term domination. It was a comfortable win. England never looked like they were in it. They never really threatened Australia's line until the very end. But yeah, 26. I don't think either team, obviously England will not be happy, but I also don't think, I mean, Kevy Walters and Australia, they'll obviously be happy for the win. I don't think they'll necessarily be proud of their performance, is what I'm saying. There's so many more levels this team can get to, which is scary. That they did this as easy as they did, as comfortably as they did. 26-6 with as many errors as they made. England had their opportunities, but just offered nothing in attack. Questions were raised about the team that was selected. Will there be changes for the second test? There almost has to be, doesn't there? I mean, if you are beaten that comfortably, There almost has to be, right? But we'll see what they come up with. 26 points to 6, though. Australia get the job done nice and easily. I personally wouldn't call it convincing, but they did enough to get the job done. 26 points to 6 victors. Thank you so much, Waste to Water Sports crew, for hanging out with me here for this one. If this is your first time and you've enjoyed hanging out and partying with us here, we do this all the time, pretty much every weekend. So do feel free to like and subscribe, and you'll be updated with our next live streams. Thank you so much, everybody. I very much appreciate it. There won't be too much of a post show for this one because, I mean, what would we even talk about? 26 points to 6. It was one-way traffic whilst not being the complete domination that we thought it would be. But it was still convincing enough. Australia, 20-point victors over England. I can't believe that Angus Crichton didn't get player of the match, but then all Reece Walsh has to do is step onto the field and he gets it given to him, doesn't he? Like I said, he could walk out, pull his pants down and have a shit on the halfway line and they'd give him player of the match. Angus Crichton for mine. But, hey, who am I? Thank you so much, Waste of Water Sports crew. I'll catch you next time. Until then, cheers.